You so much for being here. Trisha Fishmoon, everyone, is a master mindset coach and hypnotherapist. My friend, we are so excited. I'm so excited to host you here, Trisha. Thank you for being here and sharing your expertise with the group. I'm going to hand you over the microphone and let you take the reins. We're so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited too. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see all of your faces and to get started. So just like Christina said, I'm a mindset coach and a hypnotherapist, and we'll go over kind of like some of the misconceptions of what hypnotherapy and what hypnosis is. But I was the first person to be like, oh, hell no. No, because of everything that I've just heard, in the past. But it was actually through a podcast back in 2018. I was listening to this podcast, and then it just kind of went to the next one, and they started talking about hypnosis as a healing tool. And at that time in my life, I definitely needed a lot of healing, and everything that they were talking about really resonated with me. So that's when I decided to give it a try. I just started with using hypnosis recordings, actually, and I saw such a drastic impact in my own life. I started to see the shifts. And so that's when I was like, okay, I have to learn how to do this. And so I've been certified now for almost 2 years and have served clients all over the world, working on things like anything from, classically hypnosis is known for weight loss or stopping smoking, but it does so much more of that. Actually, in history too, if people were allergic to anesthesia, they could have like dental procedures just through the process of hypnosis, or people have natural childbirth as well. So if you think about that, if the human mind through hypnosis we can kind of decrease the pain levels through that. Like, think of how powerful this tool is. So we'll really go into like what it is, what it's not, other things that it can be used for, because it can be used for, procrastination. It can be used to help with your business, really any limiting beliefs that you have. It can really help. It's one of the fastest and most effective ways to rewire your mind. So I am going to share my screen because I have a little presentation for you. Oh, it says host disabled participant screen sharing. We'll see if we can figure it out. If not,
let me, okay, try now.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Share. Okay, and everyone can see this and hear me okay? Okay, great. And so if throughout this presentation, if you have any questions at all, you can always just pop them in the chat. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat too as we go. So hypnosis, the truth about this powerful tool for radical change. Let's see, how do I, just getting all set up here. Okay. So I'd love to know in the chat first, what are the first things that come to mind when I say hypnosis? It could be the good, it could be the bad, it could be the ugly, whatever the first thing that you think of, or some of the first things that come to mind when I say hypnosis. Christina, I know we've talked about some of the things. Okay. Help, like a trance state, mind control, change. Okay, so pretty across the board. Stage hypnosis show, yes, and we'll definitely go into that too, of because that's that's one of the main things that people have exposure to for hypnosis. So then they gather all these beliefs about like, oh, it must be that. When I can tell you like the why it might look like mind control on the stage, or why it might look funny on the stage, because it's completely different than how it's actually portrayed. Okay, so as you can see here, you can see like just through Disney movies, through movies as kids, we were shown what hypnosis is. And here's the trippy part. Everything that you've been taught about hypnosis, you've been hypnotized to believe. And here's what I mean by that. When we are watching TV shows or movies, you're actually in a trance-like state. Basically, the trance-like state, the state of hypnosis, which we'll go over later, you're basically just slowing down your brain waves. So you go into the theta brainwave state when you are watching movies or shows. You can also go maybe a step above that, which is like a meditative state. But if you've ever caught yourself like crying during movies or jumping when the scary guy comes out, you're in that state of hypnosis. So that means that you're more highly suggestible. So basically everything that you've been taught about hypnosis, you've been hypnotized to believe that that's what it is, which is such a shame because, you know, some of these depictions over here are not what it is at all. Actually, all of these depictions over here are not what it is at all. So just as like young minds too, we think that this is some scary tool or an evil tool or a tool that bad guys use to control other people, when that's not the case at all. And also what I mean by you've been hypnotized to believe this is that the ages of 0 to 7, we are in a constant state of hypnosis. That's why we can learn so quickly. That's why we can learn languages. We can learn, well, whatever it is, like not to cross the street. It's because we haven't developed the analytical part of the mind yet. So it's basically, we're kind of like running around with just our subconscious minds. So we're like sponges. And, you know, we'll talk about it later, like some of the programming that we have, but about 70% of the programming that you have in your subconscious mind was developed between the ages of 0 and 7, because you have constant access to your subconscious mind. So you can learn very quickly, which is a really good thing, but we'll go over, you know, some of the ways in which it could be potentially stunting your growth now. Okay, so what it's not, these beautiful pictures, that was like one of the first things that I typed in Canva about what hypnosis is. So you can see what people's, you know, what people think automatically when they think of hypnosis. Although I love some of the ones that you had put in the chat too, where a lot of you are thinking, oh yeah, it means change. Okay, so the first thing is it's not mind control, contrary to the belief in Hollywood movies and things like that. Someone can never tell you what to believe. So when you're in the state of hypnosis, you can either choose to accept or reject anything that I'm saying. So if, let's just say Christina was working on, let's just make it easy and say weight loss. Okay, so she's working on weight loss and I say a suggestion like, Christina, you only eat hamburgers now without ketchup and with peanut butter and jelly in the middle of it. You know, I could make some crazy suggestion, but she can always choose to reject that and say, actually, I don't want to believe that, or I don't believe that. She can always reject that. So it's not mind control. It's not a creepy guy with a pendulum. You know how in movies it's like depicted, like you're going deeper and deeper, and then like the swirly eyes. It's not like that at all. I'll go into stage hypnosis later. So it's not sleep. A lot of times, especially in the past, hypnotists would say sleep, and then it would appear like the person is sleeping, but actually they're just really deeply relaxed and they're taking the suggestion of basically sleeping or acting like they're sleeping, but they're still fully conscious and they're still fully in control. A lot of people think it's like unnatural, or a truth serum. Like once you're hypnotized, all of your deepest, darkest secrets will be spilled. Anyone could get anything out of you. I actually think that I'll have to look more into it, but I think that the CIA has done studies on hypnosis and if it could be a tool, to like against other people, like to see if they'll spill information, and it was not effective. It's very effective for other reasons. And it's also not a magic pill. So what I mean by that is that just if I were to, like, let's say Christina and I had a session, and she wanted to, she wanted help with her business, limiting beliefs or around her business. It's not some magic pill where all of a sudden she had one session and then she was like fully cured. And the reason that I say that is because I don't hold any of the power. It's actually Christina. So Christina has to be the one that wants the change and has to actually choose to accept these suggestions and choose to act on them as well. So we're essentially like speeding up the process and making it as easy as possible. However, it's not a magic pill. And then also I put in here that Hollywood uses hypnosis in their movies to make characters do crazy or unbelievable things. So it can really help like having these misconceptions about hypnosis, because you can just automatically put it in a script and then, some crazy event happens or the character forgets everyone else and it makes for a great movie, but that's actually not the case at all. And then stage hypnosis. So stage hypnosis is focused around entertainment, and it makes it kind of look like it's mind control because people are like doing these weird things. But really, if you pay attention, and if you go to a stage hypnotist in the future, if you pay attention, they'll actually do a suggestibility test at the beginning and survey the crowd of who's the most hypnotizable and who's the most suggestible. And then they'll pick people out of the audience, but they'll only pick people, of course, who are raising their hand. So by raising your hand, by volunteering to go up there, you're already consciously deciding and choosing to accept those suggestions. But then even in stage hypnotist shows, there are always people that they just like pull off the stage in the middle of the show, right? It's like you end up with like maybe one or two people at the end who are just, still doing like karaoke or still acting like their favorite movie character or something like that. That's because the stage hypnotist will always pull off people who aren't going along with his suggestions. So that's a little bit about what it's not. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them in the chat. Okay, yeah. And what if I told you actually go in and out of hypnosis about 7 times a day? So like I said before, a lot of people think it's some unnatural state or like, oh no, I would never be hypnotized. But actually we go in and out of hypnosis about 7 times a day. And the most common times are as you're waking up and as you're going to sleep. So you're already in that state of hypnosis. That's why, I should take my own advice, but that's why people are like, don't look at your phone the first thing in the morning, or don't look at it before you go to bed. Of course, there are other reasons for that too, but you're in a really highly suggestible state. So you don't necessarily want those outside influences seeping into your subconscious. Okay, so what it actually is. So it's completely natural. It's a deeply relaxed yet highly focused state where you can create new neural pathways by bypassing the critical factor of the mind, which makes you more suggestible. And I will go over, what all of this means. But again, when I said that a lot of people think that it's sleep, you're very deeply relaxed, but still highly focused. So if I was in this state of hypnosis now, and someone like came into the room, I could still hear them. Or if I wanted to, I could still talk to them, or I could just automatically open up my eyes and just continue going about my day. So you're definitely not in control, like at any time. And you can go in and out of this state very easily. And I think, Christina, I was talking to you about it too, is sometimes you might not even know like that you're actually in this state of hypnosis because it feels so natural. We're all good at this state because we all go in and out of it every day. And then the last thing, my mentor calls it meditation with a goal, which I really love that definition. That was the one that first piqued my attention in that podcast, because I was like, wait a minute. Okay, I know the benefits of meditation, but now this is meditation with a goal. And the reason that it's with a goal is because we're dealing with the subconscious mind and we're actually creating these new neural pathways. So I will tell you all about that. Okay, so this theta brainwave state is also known as hypnosis. So this is the state in between sleep and meditation. So sleep would be down here in delta, and then meditation would be up here in alpha. We're in the theta brainwave state for hypnosis. So think of hypnosis maybe as like a state, you would be in like a light state of hypnosis if you were daydreaming. Or, like if you're in the shower doing something like really mundane, like you do all the time, you can sometimes get your best ideas. That's hypnosis. Highway hypnosis, if you've ever been like driving down the highway and, you had to drive for an hour, let's say, and all of a sudden you're like 5 minutes away and you're like, wait a minute, how did I get here? That's highway hypnosis. But as you can see, you're still operating machinery. You can still, if someone were to cut you off, you would automatically just brake. Like, it's not like you're completely out of control. Otherwise, it would be illegal to drive and to get into that state. Or like I said before, like getting engrossed in a movie, in a TV show, in the news, like where you're just like so like on the edge of your seat, or you're just so in it where your favorite character dies and then you're distraught. Okay. So accessing your subconscious by changing your brainwave state. So this is exactly what I was talking about. So this is the theta brainwave state. This is delta, where we're in sleep. And then this is alpha, when we're in that kind of meditative state. Most of your day, you're actually in beta. So this is like, me talking to you, you talking to me, you listening. If you're like highly focused and when you're just like sometimes like really in the zone, like getting work done, or just super highly focused. Maybe you're really focused on my presentation right now. You might be in gamma. Okay. So why is it so important that we access the subconscious mind? So you can think of the brain like an iceberg. So the top would be our conscious mind, where most of us think of, okay, yeah, I have a conscious mind. I can consciously think with my mind, but we forget about the subconscious mind, which makes up 90% of our mind, roughly. And so our subconscious stores our habits, our beliefs, our stories about ourselves. So like those I am statements, I am lazy, I am not good enough, I am the type of person who will never get there. Stories about the world, like the world is a bad place. Even like stories like nothing ever happens to me. Why me? Those can be like even stories about ourselves. Our memories, our emotional responses, and then our automatic bodily functions. So if you think about it, like we don't have to think to breathe. We don't have to think to pump our blood to all of our organs. We don't have to think for our heart to beat. It just does it. So that's like a subconscious function. So it's amazing that we have this subconscious mind, but we can't always like access it. And that's why some of these old programming is kind of looping around in the background. So, if you take a look at this is kind of disproportionate, but imagine that this was 90%. That's why it's so important to really focus on the subconscious mind, because willpower alone isn't enough to achieve success. How many of you have set New Year's goals and you're like, okay, I have this plan. I'm going to execute this plan and I'm just going to do it. And then, 30 days later, 60 days later, 90 days later, maybe even a day later, you're like, damn it, I didn't follow through. Like, why haven't I changed? It's because we're not bringing in the subconscious, which again makes up 90%. So I've also heard that we think about 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day. So that's a lot. A lot is running through our minds a day. And about 90% of those are the same as yesterday, or they're repeated thoughts. So again, if we have those thoughts or those stories about ourselves, like I am worthless, I am lazy, oh, I always do this, it's just a repeated cycle. So it's like the subconscious mind is like a broken record player repeating the same outdated thoughts over and over. I put like a TikTok. It would be like you watching the same TikTok day in and day out, but having really no conscious idea that you have that repeating TikTok. Or sometimes once you bring awareness to it, then you are like, oh my gosh, yeah, here I go again. I'm repeating the same TikTok over and over and over. Yes, Kylie's raising her hand. Yes, I think we've all been there, right? So why is it that, we're playing these TikToks over and over again, or the same song over and over? Why is it that it's a broken record player? Well, the subconscious mind is wired for simplicity. It's like, it wants the quickest and the easiest way. So we'll talk about neural pathways, but like your mind, you can even think of it. Actually, I'll go to a picture of it right now. Not a picture actually of your neural pathways, but in sand. So think of it, or, if you live in a place with snow, think of it like you're driving your car, and it just snowed a bunch and you're driving into your driveway. Would you choose to drive where there's like 3 feet of snow so that you have to forge your own path? Or would you choose to drive where there's already tire marks? There's already those pathways for you. So your subconscious mind is like the same thing. It's always going to pick the simplest way because it's already wired for that. And it's also wired to keep you safe. And safe sometimes means normal, or what it's always done. So it might not actually be keeping you safe, or it might not actually be helping you, but according to the subconscious, staying the same is a lot safer than doing something new and going out of the ordinary. Okay, so the subconscious mind is like a computer program. So we're running all sorts of programs, all day. And what is your program? So I'm just going to kind of list some of these. I just, came up with them. If some of them resonate, but you kind of get the idea of where I'm going with this. So maybe your programming are like feelings of unworthiness or inadequacy. Maybe you have this belief that money doesn't grow on trees, or that money can't buy happiness. Maybe you have this story that you're not smart enough. Because again, remember when I was talking about like we're in this state of hypnosis from the ages of 0 to 7, some people are even saying 0 to 14. So it can be kind of generous there. And there's not like a distinct moment where you wake up when you're 8 and you're like, yep, there we go. I have all my subconscious programming, especially if traumatic events happen. That's when you can also access the subconscious too. So let's just say that like in 4th grade, you raised your hand and everyone laughed at you because you said the wrong answer. Okay, now you might have this story like, wow, I'm really not very smart, or I'm not smart enough. And then that can just be perpetuated throughout the years too, especially if you're constantly repeating that to yourself, because our mind too is also always trying to prove ourselves right. It's like our biggest cheerleader in that way. It's like, oh yeah, you're right. You're definitely right. And I'm going to show you all the ways in which you're right. So I'm going to show you all the ways in which you aren't smart enough, which you aren't good enough. And I'm going to show you all the ways in which money doesn't grow on trees. So, that's why it's so important to bring awareness to what's in the subconscious. We can also have like a belief, maybe you have a belief that it's unsafe to be seen, or a belief that you have to work hard in order to be successful or loved. So you burn yourself out constantly. Maybe there's a belief that there's something wrong with you, or a belief that you have to outsource your success. So you don't trust yourself. So you follow every single piece of business advice on Instagram or health advice on Instagram, or, wherever it is that you're like, oh yeah, I need someone else's help because I don't have, what I'm bringing to the table isn't enough. So these are all developed over time, especially in childhood. So what you're continuously exposed to, what you watch, who you surround yourself with, your continued thoughts and experiences can all shape what is in your subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind, like I said before, essentially rejects any belief that doesn't align with the one that we already have. So you're likely running on an outdated program developed from the ages of 0 to 7 or 0 to 14. Okay, so luckily our minds have the ability to change through neuroplasticity. So we're not just stuck with these lines in the sand or these pathways in the snow. We can actually change them. So has anyone heard this saying, neurons that fire together, wire together? So essentially, like through repetition, we're able to create new neural pathways or new loops, new TikToks in the mind that actually help us. So the subconscious mind also doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So vividly imagining yourself and feeling yourself accomplishing a task is highly effective. That's why visualization with athletes is so effective. And a lot of teams use that to, especially when they're injured. And it's been shown that it still activates the same muscles and can even in some cases strengthen the muscles even when you're injured, but just by activating those neural pathways. Okay. So like I said before, this is why you can't will your way to success. This is why sometimes, New Year's resolutions, even with the best intentions, with the best plan, with the best everything, with the best support system, sometimes they still fail. And so that's why we have to focus on the subconscious, which makes up 95% of your reality. So if there's ever a mismatch between your conscious desires and your subconscious beliefs, the subconscious mind will usually win, especially in times of stress. Because again, it's always going for simplicity. So you can kind of think of it like you're the driver of your life, right? You can like choose, okay, I really, really want to take this left turn. And when you're conscious about it, yeah, you can totally take that left turn. But you might also feel a force underneath you that's also trying to turn you this way. Or when you're really stressed and you're like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do, you're just automatically going to take the right turn because that's your subconscious mind being like, oh, I don't know if we really believe that, that you're qualified for this. I think we're going to actually self-sabotage because that's what we've always done. We don't actually believe that we're good enough, right? So you can kind of get the point that way. Okay, so the problem is that I put it in quotes because it's not actually a problem, because it's a good thing that we can't access our subconscious beliefs all the time, or we can't access our subconscious mind all the time. This part of the iceberg is because that would be, again, like we just wouldn't have that analytical brain. So we wouldn't be able to think for ourselves and be like, actually, I don't think that I believe that. I don't choose that. So it's a really good thing that we have that barrier there. And also we're not flooded with these thoughts all the time of like, okay, breathe, pump the blood. Like, so it's a good thing. But the problem in this case is that we can't access our subconscious beliefs or our subconscious rather, during normal states of consciousness. So we have something called the critical factor of the mind that serves like a gatekeeper to the subconscious. So you can kind of see like this watermark here. Let's just pretend that this is the critical factor of the mind. So this would be like the gatekeeper to the subconscious. And this is essentially like, sort of letting things pass into your subconscious mind or being like, no, we don't believe that. So try again next time. So how do we bypass the critical factor of the mind? We can slow our brainwaves down, get into the state of hypnosis or theta, and that's where we become relaxed and more suggestible. But again, you can still choose to accept or reject any of the suggestions. It's not like, okay, the critical factor of the mind, we bypass that, and now you just believe everything. You still have that agency over what you'd like to believe and what's for your highest good. Because if you're going to a qualified hypnotherapist whom you trust, most likely they have your highest good in mind. I would hope so. Okay, so the effectiveness of hypnosis. So a study found that an average of 6 sessions of hypnotherapy resulted in a 93% of improvement. So let's say that you were working on procrastination, for example. So it would take an average of 6 sessions working with a hypnotherapist to see a 93% improvement. That is amazing. I mean, think of how quick that is. That could be essentially 6 weeks. And you would see a 93% improvement. And this study was done a while ago, so I'm not sure if they've updated it, but compared to 600 sessions of psychoanalysis, resulted in a 38% improvement, and 22 sessions of behavioral therapy, which resulted in 72% improvement. So as you can see, there's still improvement here, and all of these methods are amazing. But this is really highlighting how fast and how effective it is when we use the subconscious, when we're creating these new neural pathways that actually help us. And then the Harvard Medical School found that 6 weeks after an ankle fracture, so let's say that all of you fractured your ankle, there was one group that was doing these, I think it was group hypnosis, so that almost like visualizing their ankle recovering. So they were doing this, and then there's this control group. I think that there was also another group too. And those in the hypnosis group showed the equivalent of 8.5 weeks of healing instead of the control group, which would just be, they would be on track for 6 weeks. They actually were showing 8.5 weeks of progress. So pretty cool that it can also have like physical manifestations as well. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of go over like how to use this powerful tool, because you can actually do this on your own. So you can use self-hypnosis. So again, all of us go in and out of hypnosis, about 7 times a day. Some people might be different, but so you have the power to do this on your own. One of the easiest ways is to kind of just tap into when you naturally go into that state. So like as you go to sleep or as you wake up, you can always like really imagine yourself doing whatever it is that you want. So again, let's come up with a goal here. So let's say that you want to launch a business, but you're so scared of launching a business. You're afraid of putting yourself out there on social media. You're afraid of, just taking the leap. So before you go to bed or as you wake up, you can actually visualize yourself doing that, and you can pair it with affirmations too. Like, I am a successful business owner. You can make it more believable. Like, every day I'm taking steps to become a successful business owner. Every day I'm getting closer to my goal of X, Y, and Z. Or if you forget to do it, because you're so tired, you can always visualize yourself in a safe place. So you're already like envisioning or activating the imagination. So let's just say that you're visualizing yourself on a beach right now and relaxing yourself, like feeling it with all of your senses. You feel the sand, you feel the water, you hear the birds, you hear the waves. And soon enough, then you're slowing down your brainwave states to get to theta. And you're already activating the imagination. And then from that point, then when you're relaxed, you can see, feel, and experience your desired results. Again, whatever it is that you want to work on. So if you're working on money, kind of overturning some of those old outdated beliefs, like money doesn't grow on trees, you can imagine yourself like receiving and accepting large amounts of money, or just, imagine like money flowing to you, like the waves of the ocean. You can also add in affirmations, like I said, that can help you. So in general, it takes about 90 days with the same affirmations and the same kind of visualization practice when you're using self-hypnosis. So that's still an amazing tool. Again, you can do this on your own. All you need is yourself and a safe place. You don't want to do it while driving. And the other thing is you can listen to hypnosis recordings either while relaxing, or sometimes even when you're like hiking in nature, you kind of get into that flow state. So that would also be a good time to listen to those hypnosis recordings. And it's recommended to do that 21 days of the same recording, because our subconscious mind loves repetition. So the more that you can do so and kind of ingrain that in the subconscious mind, the better. Or like the study had said, you can work with a certified hypnotherapist that you trust. And that's on average 6 sessions. Of course, everyone is different. And sometimes, people think, oh, 6 sessions, that's all that I need. Well, if you're dealing with multiple different goals, it's really an average of 6 sessions per goal. So although the goals might be interconnected, like, well, we'll use the procrastination. Okay, well, I procrastinate and I'm also afraid of being seen and I have money blocks. Okay, then that's 3 separate goals that you have there, not just one. So you wouldn't, well, some people could address all of them in those 6 sessions, because, it's even been shown that just one session can be effective. Christina, I think that you had shared that you had like a really effective one session. So yeah. So if you want to go deeper too, but I'll go into questions too, but I just wanted to share this because Christina and I were also doing a workshop this Friday. It's 9 a.m. Pacific time at 12 p.m. Eastern time, and it's called From Self-Doubt to Sold Out. So this would be especially great if you are a business owner yourself and you notice yourself, kind of going down that self-doubt track. This is kind of going to reset you and open you up to a lot more abundance, because, when we're continuously going down those same cycles, it often leads to self-sabotage. So like consciously, we can set ourselves up for success and try to do all those things. But subconsciously, when it's trying to keep us safe, it can often lead in self-sabotage. You can also work one-on-one with me or like someone else that you trust. You really want to make sure that they're certified and it's someone that you trust, because that way you don't have to like constantly worry of like, wait a minute, are they going to tell me to eat hamburgers all the time or not? Most of them probably won't, but you never know. You could also book a group hypnosis session. So you'll get a feel for the group feel if you choose to attend on the workshop on Friday. I think it's $55. Or I have a recording too that I just created, and it's $17 and it's 10 minutes. So all you have to do is just like put in your earbuds, and just listen to that recording, and it'll guide you, and it'll allow you to insert whatever suggestion or whatever affirmation that you want, so that you can always access and use that recording. And yeah, then I just have my email. If you ever have any questions, Instagram, you can always follow me there, or you can go to my website, trishafishbean.com. So does anyone have, and then I do have a free masterclass as well, on Tuesday, May 3rd at 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going over the eight of the biggest blocks that entrepreneurs face and how to overcome them. And most of my practice has been a lot of entrepreneurs. And even when I first started, like one of my first clients was making, I think his first original goal was like 50K months. And I was like going into this like, oh my God, what? I don't, just dealing with my own money journey at that point. So I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even know that you could make 50K a month. I thought that was like for a year. So you can see like just how effective this tool is. Like I don't have to be the expert at anything because again, it's all the client. The client is the one in control and the client is the one doing the change work. So it's really effective. But my point in that is that I've worked with some really high end entrepreneurs and then also people who have gotten started. And from that, I've really distilled it down to 8 of the biggest blocks that entrepreneurs face and then how to overcome them. So I'll go over that in my free masterclass on Tuesday, May 3rd. But I just wanted to put that out there too, because it might be something of interest to you. But now I can open it up to questions if anyone has any questions at all. I'm going to stop, I think, sharing my screen if I can. Or wait, oh, stop share. Huh. Okay, perfect. Yes, I will shoot the link to the masterclass.
Yeah, I think I'm already enrolled, but I'm like, I want to go to that.
I think that you are.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay, good. Well, I definitely want everybody to be able to go if they're interested. If you're an entrepreneur, I definitely want to know what are those blocks. I mean, I'm sure I could write out what my own blocks are, but definitely want to be there. There you go. There's the link to the masterclass. Where
It'll be on Zoom, Joy.
on Zoom.
Yeah.
Awesome. So definitely register for that. And then, like Trisha said, we are doing a workshop on Friday. So the workshop is $55. If you're a member of my community at a tier 2 level, you will get free access to that. So I can put the link for that as well. If you're interested in being in the Worthy and Wealthy private community, you get all of the pop-up classes for free. This one was free. Some of them were not free, so you get those for free. And at a tier 3 level, you get the workshops for free, but I'm actually doing this one as a special offer. So I will put the link to that in the chat. But I am super excited about the workshop because Trisha is actually going to walk us through, going to take us through, guide us through an actual hypnosis session on some of these blocks that tend to come up for, I think, most of us who are entrepreneurs, who are on this online space, or even in a, in any kind of business where we are putting ourselves out there. A lot of the self-doubt comes up, a lot of the imposter syndrome. That is actually exactly why I went to see a hypnotherapist, because I was really struggling with self-doubt and imposter syndrome back last year. And so it was phenomenal. And so I'm so excited for this session. And also around money blocks. A lot of the times we are self-sabotaging because we have these subconscious programming around money. Maybe we consciously think that, of course, I want money. Of course, I want to make more money. Of course, I want to hang on to my money. Of course, I want to be smart with my money. But subconsciously, there can be other things that are not saying that then we end up wondering, why the heck can't I do what I said I wanted to do, right? And so typically around money blocks, blocks to abundance that we desire, but on a subconscious level, there are things there that are just not allowing us to do that. So we're going to work on those, self-doubt. So I'm really excited for that session. It's going to be incredible. So I will put the link to join the masterclass. So you can join the masterclass all by itself, just as a one-off. If you're not curious about the Worthy and Wealthy community, that's perfectly fine. So here is the link to the masterclass. Or not the masterclass, I'm sorry, the workshop. This is the workshop on Friday at noon Eastern. Trisha is going to take us through a hypnosis session around money blocks, self-doubt, imposter syndrome blocks. Thank you, Joy, for being here. So there is the workshop link. That's $55. Or if you are curious about being in the Worthy and Wealthy community, when you join as a tier 2 member, that is $37, and you will get the workshop and all the other workshops that I've done over the past few months, the pop-up classes, I'm sorry, for free as well. So you can check out those are 2 ways that you can get to the workshop and experience Trisha and the magic that she does. So I'm really excited for that myself. Any other questions that you have around. Go ahead, Melly.
Hi, Tricia. Thank you so
Hi.
much for that presentation. Really, really good. I have a question. So between sessions, you mentioned 6 sessions. Is there anything we have to do like daily to create those neural pathways?
So it is best to kind of reinforce what it is that happened in the session. So,
Okay.
you know, in all of my first initial sessions with clients, I'll actually teach them the process of self-hypnosis so that they can do that daily and reinforce. But that's kind of like an added bonus. Another thing that I'll say too is that it's not just enough to have these like amazing, really strong neural pathways and then just sit on our couches all day. So there actually has to be the conscious piece too, like the conscious action piece. That's actually why I became a coach as well, so that you can blend the two of them. So a lot of times too in hypnosis sessions, so let's say, just as an example, because it's about what the workshop is on, let's say that you had money blocks. Okay, so we, you know, uncover some of those money blocks in the session. We are reframing, we're rewiring, we are going back to maybe when the money block or that belief first started, things like that. Also, when you're in that that state of hypnosis, you can more easily access your intuition, and your subconscious mind knows all the answers. So you can also ask questions like, okay, what do I need to do, you know, in order to make more money? Or what, you know, what should I focus on like this week? What's the most important thing for me to focus on this week in order to achieve my goal? And so you'll get those answers. And then once you have those answers, then it's up to you to then implement them. So there are action steps in between, especially to get the best results, because again, it's not a magic pill, but most of those action steps are reinforcing. Another big thing that I'll say too is that because our subconscious mind is like so automatic, like sometimes we can just have these like automatic responses without even realizing it. So after sessions, you might become more conscious of some of your automatic patterns. Like, let's say that you're paying a bill. This is again, money related. You're paying a bill and then automatically you have like this like tightness, or automatically you get like really irritable, or you start yelling at people or something like that. You can actually then you know, put this into practice and pattern interrupt. So what I mean by that is like when you notice that you're getting like really tight or tense, or you're maybe even repeating something in your mind of like, damn it, I don't have enough money, or I never have enough money, or oh, see, these bills always come out of nowhere. You can do a pattern interrupt, which could be as simple as saying cancel, cancel, and then repeating, like maybe replacing it with a new empowering thought of like, you know, I enjoy paying these bills because now I have electricity. Or you could say something like, every day I am welcoming more money into my life, or there's more where that came from. It's flowing to me. I'm making this back 10 times. Other ways of like pattern interrupt would be like, you can literally like shake it off. That's why when you see like animals, they go through like a trauma, or they go through something, you'll see them like shake. Humans, it's really natural for us to do that too, because it can reset us. So you'll pattern interrupt just by shaking. And again, it's really helpful like to replace whatever is looping with a more empowering thought too. So does that help?
Yeah, a lot. Yes.
Okay.
I just thought, I mean, I didn't know if we had to do something, you know, like homework daily.
Yeah.
To get these neural pathways. It's just, I mean, I've never done this. I'm very curious, the power of just the session itself. So yeah, I just wanted to know if there was something too that we needed to do after, but yeah, you answered my question. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Does anyone else have any questions? Because I can always lead us through. I mean, it wouldn't be like profound by any means, but it can just be like a really quick, like 5-minute, like de-stressor if anyone wants that just going into your day. Otherwise, no questions. We can also call it as it is, whatever you guys want.
I'm down for a little quickie.
Okay, yeah. So whoever wants to join, like I said, it's supernatural. It's basically like meditation. So if you are driving, do not participate in this. But if you're in like a place where you feel safe enough, where you can close your eyes, you can even just listen. If you just want to listen and don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, you can absolutely do that. But it's helpful just to, get into like a really relaxed, comfortable position. And then if you haven't already, you can go ahead and close your eyes all the way down. And take a nice, deep, relaxing breath. Already beginning to relax both mind and body. Picture the stress of the day or of the week leaving your body now, flowing out through the bottoms of your feet. Good. And as I count down, with each and every single decreasing number that I say, notice that it becomes easier to relax. You might even double your relaxation, but also remembering that you're in control. So you can choose the level of relaxation you'd like to achieve today, whether that's a light state of relaxation, medium state, profoundly deep state of relaxation. You can make that decision right now. As I begin to count down, 5, relaxing deeper and deeper. 4, noticing every single muscle in your body, relaxing more and more. 3, going deeper and deeper. And just notice any sounds other than the sound of my voice. Just take you deeper. 2, relaxing, releasing, and really letting go all the way down. And 1, deeper and deeper relaxed. And imagine yourself now at a beautiful, safe place. This can be a place wherever you feel safe. So maybe it's a favorite spot in nature, like the beach, a beautiful forest, a prairie, a field. Maybe it's a comfy, cozy room, a bedroom, a spa, a resort. Maybe it's a completely different dimension or planet. Whatever it is, just imagine yourself there. Notice how safe it feels to be there, how wonderful it feels to be there. As you notice it with all of your senses, taking in the sights, the sounds, the smells, the tastes, the colors. And imagine a color that you love forming at the top of your head. And imagine that color that you love flowing in through the top of your head, all the way through your body and out through the bottoms of your feet. And this color has magic properties to it, where it can act almost like a magnet for any stress, any tension, any limiting beliefs that are no longer serving you. So see that color flowing in through the top of your head and attracting any tension, any stress, pulling it out of your body as it flows out through the bottoms of your feet and flows down into the center of the earth, where it's transmuted into something more positive. And you can continue that process until you feel lighter and lighter, till you feel completely clear, completely clean. And just notice how good it feels to feel calm, free, peaceful. Notice how much more energy, mentally, physically, emotionally, you now have, now that you've let go. And imagine just going throughout your day from this peaceful, calm place where you can make the most empowering decisions, the best decisions, because you're now coming from this clear, calm, present state. Good. So imagine that color flowing in through the top of your head, all the way through your body and out through the bottoms of your feet, really sealing in this beautiful practice today. And in just a moment, I'll count you back up from 1 to 5 with each and every single increasing number that I say. You come back to your place, your time, remembering everything, feeling absolutely amazing, calm, restored, and present. 1, starting to come back now. 2, moving your feet and your toes. 3, moving your hands and your fingers. 4, that's right, lots of energy returning to your body, getting ready to open those eyes. And 5, opening your eyes whenever you're ready, putting that gentle smile on your face, feeling relaxed and restored and ready to take on the rest of your day. Great job, everyone. So I should have asked you at the front end of it, what you were feeling and how you're feeling now, because it's a really great practice to measure the difference. If you've ever done like tapping before, a lot of times they'll ask like, okay, how activated are you right now on a scale of 1 to 10? And then at the end, then you can actually measure like, wow, okay, I went down. So if you actually went down or stayed the same, that's actually really positive. And you can show to your subconscious mind like, wow, this is a powerful practice and I want to continue doing this. But you can see with that was 5 minutes, just how much of an impact that can have on your day. And it can even be like a ripple effect too throughout the rest of your day.
That was amazing. Trisha, I feel so calm. I'm like, oh man, I feel so calm. So
I love it.
we're definitely going to include the link to that $17 meditation that you mentioned.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I want to mention that, and I'll send that with the replay email and all of that, because you're phenomenal. Your voice, just everything. I'm like, oh, can you just please come like live with me and be my little guru, my own personal hypnotherapist.
Right.
Phenomenal. Thank you so much, Trisha. This class was incredible. Melly says, I'm feeling great, relaxed, and calm. Yes, I could have easily gone to sleep if I didn't need to come back and, come back here. I could have easily I just can imagine listening to you before I fall asleep and or in a midday kind of recentering. So anyway, it was phenomenal. Thank you so much. This class was amazing. Again, if you want to go deeper, you want to take this now knowledge piece and put it in, really apply it. We got the privilege of getting a little taste of that. The workshop, the workshop will be 90 minutes, so you will get really a full session with Trisha. It's going to be incredible. It's this Friday. It's $55, or if you're in the community, it is $37 for the entire month. Plus, you get everything that's in there. We'll have that information in an email that I'll send out. But feel free to reach out to either myself or Trisha on Instagram or an email, wherever you can connect with us. We're happy to answer any questions or help you get situated, so that you can join us. Anything else, Trisha? Thank you so much.
No, that's all. Thank you everyone so much for joining, for opening up your minds to this powerful tool, and for also experiencing it for yourself. I love seeing your messages. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see some of you on Friday.
See you there, Trisha. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.